Getting drafted is simultaneously the culmination as well as start of a dream for all of these players entering the National Football League every single year. And also, it's even cooler if you're in person, if you're at the draft, if you're in the green room, you hear your name, you come on out as a first-round pick, you got your jersey, you get to give some a bear hug and some dap to Roger Goodell after the fans all booed him. It's a good time. But there's nothing worse than when the cameras zoom in on the kid who's falling in the draft, just awkwardly sitting there, sipping on some Aquafina. It's like, I should have been number one, and then you just hate that. Just hate that, don't you? But the NFL announced their 17 invites to the 2023 NFL Draft, taking over Kansas City this year, so they're all headed down to get some fantastic barbecue, taking the sights of Kansas City, Missouri, one of the more underrated cities in the country, man. Power and Light District, let's go, man. But getting some Gates, getting some Arthur Bryants, getting some of that nice, and having their dream come true. And the start of an amazing professional career, hopefully, for these 17 young men, and they're just getting after it. But they pared down their list. So Jordan Addison, USC wide receiver, Will Anderson, Bama edge rusher, Brian Branch, also of Alabama, the safety / slot cornerback, Jalen Carter, controversial defensive tackle from Georgia. They obviously still see him as a top pick. Zay Flowers, wide receiver from Boston College. Christian Gonzalez, the fantastic all-around corner from Oregon. Paris Johnson Jr., the fantastic tackle from Ohio State. Will Levis, the polarizing gunslinger quarterback from Kentucky. Joey Porter Jr., royalty, coming on in out of Penn State. Anthony Richardson, the human lotto ticket. Man. Bijan Robinson, the extremely talented running back from Texas. Hook 'em, baby. JSN, a wide receiver one in the draft for me. CJ Stroud, his quarterback at The Ohio State. Keon White, the wild card edge rushing prospect coming in from Georgia Tech. Tyree Wilson, another wild card edge rushing prospect coming in from Texas Tech. Wreckham. And then Devin Witherspoon, for me, the best man cornerback in this class coming out of Illinois. And Bryce Young, the Alabama quarterback. Now, they don't want to embarrass these guys, so they're not going to invite someone who has very likely little shot at the first round, and also a lot of these guys don't want to get embarrassed either. So it is a mixture of who the league initially invited as well as who accepted invites, and we'll never know. And there's a bunch of players that could have been on this list that maybe they weren't invited, maybe they declined, like Quentin Johnston, the receiver from TCU. I guess we'll never know if he was invited or if he declined, but it is interesting that he is not among these 17 names. Now, looking back to the invites last year, I mean, it was a relatively good hit rate, but of the 21 players that they invited last year, 18 ended up in the first round. 2 of them fell to the third round. So Matt Corral out of Ole Miss, as well as Malik Willis out of Liberty, ending up with the Panthers and the Titans respectively, but also they're reportedly being shot by both their teams, so I don't know. And then Kyler Gordon fell out of the first round, but I think he was drafted 39 by the Bears, so that's no harm, no foul there. But overall, I mean, these guys, I believe the only real wild card of this 17 is Keon White, where does he go first round? Does he go early day 2? TBD. But also, it seems like there's every year, there's a player that falls and we have no idea why, but it's revealed later that there were some medical issues or whatever popped up. So I guess never say never, but I think overall, most of these guys will have a very good shot at being first round picks. So there's 4 quarterbacks: Young, Stroud, Richardson, and Levis. I would actually be shocked if one of them gets outside the top 10. I think it's going to go QB, because I think a team trades up with Arizona. The 3 wide receivers are Zay, Addison, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like we said, no Quentin Johnson, so that raises some eyebrows a little bit. 3 cornerbacks, Witherspoon, Gonzo, and Joey Porter Jr. I think those guys are likely in some combination going to be the top 3 cornerbacks, but notably, Deontay Banks or Julius Brents or Cam Smith or Emmanuel Forbes did not make the list. 3 edge rushers: Will Anderson, lock, probably going to be a top 5 pick. Tyree Wilson, I think will be top 10. Keon White is the wild card. Like maybe he's the 3rd edge rusher off the board. Maybe he goes a lot higher than the consensus right now, but I do see him as like a late first round, early second round type pick. Jalen Carter, I mean, obviously the league, despite some of his off the field stuff, obviously see him as a first round pick. And frankly, I would be shocked if he got outside the top 9 picks. I think his floor is number 9 to Chicago. Brian Branch, a slot cornerback. So that's interesting where slot cornerback / safety. Some people see him as a first-round pick, some don't. But it's interesting that he was given the invite and accepted. Bijan Robinson, who obviously is the best running back in this class, but at a devalued position, could he go higher than people expect? Could a team, with 2 first-round picks like the Lions or the Eagles take a shot, a luxury shot on Bijan, who is going to step in and be, top 5 fantasy running back right away? And then only one offensive tackle, only one offensive lineman, and Paris Johnson Jr. coming out of the Ohio State University. So I think that it does speak to a lot of the draft prognosticators evaluating and also reporting from some of their sources that there's only about 20 first-round graded players in this class, but of course there's going to be 31 first-round players overall. So I think they're just playing it very conservatively in terms of who they invited, and maybe some players got the invite and were just like, nah, don't want to be that jabroni who's sitting in the back of the green room just eating Dots pretzels and just like waiting. Sitting, waiting, wishing, Jack Johnson style. No. But overall, I think this is a good group and really looking forward to what's going to go down in Kansas City, not this Thursday, but the Thursday after. But your thoughts are thoughts. Review of the 17 NFL Draft invite attendees for this season. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.